Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy Presents our MLB DFS hitter picks for Thursday, April 13th, 2017. I'm your host, Nick Valinchak, better known as Nick from CWE on all of your favorite daily fantasy sites. And I'm here to break down my top 3 hitters for your tournament lineups based on FanDuel pricing. FanDuel's pricing is still laughable. There are, on today's slate, 2 hitters over 4K. I don't even have words to describe how bad this is. I mean, I'm still going to play, but I just don't. It takes the skill out of it when you can just throw whoever you want in a lineup. Anyway, all right, so gave you my pitchers. I'm going to try to give you some hitters. Maybe some will go under the radar. I know that one definitely will not go under the radar on this slate. But let's start things off with Zack Cozart, 3K at home in the Hitter's Park, the Great American Small Park, hosting the Milwaukee Brewers and Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson pitched a fantastic game opening day. I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I think that we are still sitting here at this point like espousing, well, you got to target the Reds because last year they were not a good team. And it just sounds stupid when they go out and put up 9 runs. Like Ivanova owners, how we feeling after last night, you know? No pitchers were really great. Marcus Stroman pitched a complete game that he lost. I mean, baseball is just wonky. That's all it comes down to, is that your odds are better flipping a coin. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make here is that the Reds aren't a bad offense. You can sit there and once every 5 nights pat yourself on the back when you've successfully targeted against them. You can feel like a big man or woman then when you do that. Unfortunately, in the meantime, I'm going to actually play players who are scoring fantasy points and not just trying to force guys like Josh Donaldson into my lineups because he's going to have a big night consisting of 2 walks. Up to this point this year, Zack Cozart has been hitting the ball extremely well. There's nothing to fear with Jimmy Nelson. Like I said, he's a good pitcher. But there's very few pitchers that we're walking away from saying, nope, not even looking at it, not considering it. Jimmy Nelson's not one of them. So I'm going to have a lot of Zack Cozart, 3K on FanDuel on DraftKings. So he's the 4th highest priced shortstop on FanDuel on DraftKings. He's like the 10th on a short slate. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned on DraftKings, lock and load all day with Zack Cozart. I'm expecting the Reds to score another 4 or 5 runs tonight. I expect him to be a part of it. He hasn't gone yard yet. That's something that he was doing early last season and, pretty much through last season. So I think there's definitely some potential there with him. Moving on, my favorite play of the night, I'm just going to come out and say it when I write my article for Fantasy Draft. And folks, if you haven't signed up for Fantasy Draft, head over to our website, read our article. I always post a link as a card in the video. Probably right up there. There's probably an I, or an exclamation mark rather. I put it in the description below. These guys are great. The contests, unfortunately, are overlaying every night. So, we want to see more people go play there. I love playing there. If you want to sign up, we greatly appreciate using our referral link, which you could find within the articles. But when I write my article today for Fantasy Draft, there's no question asked. My top player today is going to be Eric Hosmer. I was looking at the data, and he has not been off to a great start this year. But I don't care necessarily in a situation like that. I definitely see it being something that we can take advantage of. Let's read some stats on the pitcher here. Jesse Hahn, 2016 against lefties. 443 WOBA. 37.8 fly ball percent, 25% home run to fly ball ratio, 37.8 hard hit percent. Good Lord. This guy's going to get torn up on a team where your major threats are all left-handed, and Hosmer is one of them. I think he's 3rd highest priced on both FanDuel and DraftKings, but I'm fine with it. Like that 3,200, I know it seems risky to drop down from Votto, who's, Joey Votto. He's a baseball player. He's a good hitter. I know it's a little bit risky to look that route and go Hosmer, who hasn't been as consistent, but ultimately the matchup is just far too good here for Hos. Batting under 200, I don't see that being something that's going to happen all year, so there's going to be some regression to the norm with him. And it's just a fantastic matchup. I think the Royals are going to score a lot of runs tonight, and I want to have him on my lineup. Last up, our over 4K picks, and it was a tough choice because I had two good hitters to choose from on FanDuel with Ryan Braun and Yoenis Cespedes, and to be honest with you, I'm going to do what I can, which is going to be basically nothing because they're just going to fit into my lineups in FanDuel. But these are guys I don't mind building teams around. I'm going to give a very, very, very slight edge to Ryan Braun here. Not a believer in Bronson Arroyo. I do believe there's going to be another very short outing for him. I think with Braun, you're looking at, 20-point upside on both fantasy sites. I understand that FanDuel is a little more to the higher extent of the scoring, but I think he's in a great position. He hasn't been a bad hitter this year. I guess he hasn't been great. 214, 2 home runs, but he's had 3 double-digit fantasy games. I'm not concerned about this whatsoever. I think this will be a good situation to target Ryan Braun in tonight. I don't think you're going to get him at low ownership because this is such a short slate and Bronson Arroyo should get torn apart. So, once again, that brings our top 3 tournament hitters. Why did I forget the first one already? Jesus, what's going on with me today? Zack Cozart, ladies and gentlemen, my brain's drained from trying to run out 600 fantasy golf lineups last night, apparently. Eric Hosmer, number 2. Ryan Braun, number 3. Thank you for joining. Sorry for my mental lapses along the way. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to researchfantasy.com. Sign up for our MLB mailing list. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again tomorrow.